What's going on, everybody, man? Welcome back to Otaku Perspective. I'm your host, Jordan, here joined once again with my co-host, man. We got Dwayne.
Yo, what's up, what's up?
We got TJ.
Yo.
Theo.
Yo, what's good?
Man, Otaku Perspective, as y'all know, is an anime review podcast. And this week, got to review a great one, man. A classic Studio Gainax show, man. Fooly, Cooly. Just, what was you guys' thoughts, man, when you heard we was going to be talking about this show this week?
I was excited. I've already seen it. I liked it. And I was really interested to see how these two was going to react to it.
Yeah, same for me. I had already seen it. I thought everybody would like it. I knew it was a shorter show, but a good show. That was part of the reason why I recommended it.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man. I was blind going in. I didn't know what to expect. I had like seen the picture or the thumbnail. You know what I mean? I had like seen the art for the show or whatever. So you know what I mean? I was definitely hopeful, man. I heard it's a good show. So you know, I was just excited to get into it.
Yeah, I was pretty much like T. I went completely blind about it, but also I watched a different version of FCL. I watched the alternate, the original, but they pretty much was still the same. Going into the show, I was high hopes to see what kind of recommendation this was and see if I enjoyed it, and it was pretty cool.
Man, we're going to get into all that and more, man, on this episode.
Yes,
Play my intro.
Here we go. Hey. I'm a real spitter, baby. Give me all the currency. Ain't nobody in this rap game going hard as me. Tripled up my money, niggas say I got that pedigree. You ain't heard by now, let me introduce. I'm switch from 3. When you see me out, hella gas in rotation. I can't even count all these blunts I've been facing. Told that bitch to get up off my ass, up off my case. This ain't even that. Why you switching up the play? Like I won't pull up and dick you down and skirt off, take a race. Why you trying to check me, girl? You know that ain't your place. I've been working, I've been rolling. I'm so sorry for the wait. I've been living in the studio, like that's where I stay.
All right, man, let's chop it up about this Fooly Cooly, man. Just going into a couple background facts, man. Studio Gainax show from 2000. 6 episodes. Got a MAL score at 8.03. Okay, doing something nice. Got Haruko and JP, voiced by Shintani Mayumi. Y'all might know her as No from Kill la Kill. The pink girl with the drums.
Yeah.
No from Kill la Kill. Naota in the JP is Mizuki Jun. Hasn't done much work outside of this voice acting. In the English, Haruko is Kari Walgren. You might know her as Saber from Fate. She's Celty in Durarara. Naota is Barbara Goodson. Goku from Dragon Ball. She voices young Goku from Dragon Ball. The fat cat we see, Miyu, is Hideaki Anno, the director of Evangelion. Little cameo from him in this show. This is the first season. Has now 5 seasons, guys. 2 more seasons came out in 2018. Progressive and alternative. Came out on Adult Swim to some varying reviews, man. I heard some stuff about it, but it wasn't like to the level of what I heard about season 1. Right. And then just recently, last year, 2023, 2 more 3-episode seasons. I don't know why they keep doing these low episode count. I guess it's a Fooly Cooly thing. But we got Grunge and Shogaze, which is 4 and 5. And those came out last year on Adult Swim. Haven't heard much about those yet, but it is interesting. You guys got any fun facts to share about the show overall?
You talk about the music, it all being done
by
the
of course. Yeah. The Pillows, they contributed a lot of music to this show. I think just about every song in the OST for this show is done by the Pillows. Even the ending. So, great music there. But without further ado, man, we about to get into this episode 1. So, for my episode 1 synopsis, I got our main boy Naota sits under a bridge talking to an incredibly delusional Mamimi until eventually Naota decides to buy her a drink. Then out of nowhere, he is hit by a mysterious girl on a Vespa. The hit leaves Naoto with a very confusing headache as he goes home and learns that a horn has sprouted from his head. Later that day, after returning from school, Naoto is shocked to learn that this girl will now be staying at his home. After chatting with Mimimi back at the bridge, a portal opens from Naoto's horn and a robot arm, as well as a full robot, springs forth and engage in combat. After the robot arm is defeated with the help from Haruko, the robot becomes the newest member of Naoto's household. What in the world is going on? Let's chop it up. What stood out to you guys? Episode 1, notes you took. I had a fan of the art style. I really like in this episode, they had a great use of like whited out backgrounds. Any backgrounds I had noticed that weren't very detailed. It's just like white out. And I like that art.
Yeah, just in general about the animation, I don't know if you guys noticed, it was always something slightly different between each episode. Yeah. It wasn't like really the same animation over and over and over. It was really refreshing, especially like when it went to like the scenes where it's like the manga scripts. I feel like that was, in my opinion, some like the best animation in the show. It was just really different in that aspect. And even though the show came out, what was it, 2000?
2000.
Yeah, early 2000. It still stands up to be really good looking today.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now, you can obviously tell it's an older show, but compared to other shows that came out early 2000, you could definitely tell it's way better than what those other shows look like.
I definitely feel that, man. I think as far as the first episode, what stood out to me, I think, like, as you'll see, like, as we give the different synopsis for the episodes, it's very confusing. So, you know what I mean? The first episode was throwing me off. I think that I definitely did like the fight scene between the robot and, like, the hand, that sort of, just like them displaying their animation and stuff. I really like that. Can't lie to you, though. This episode was very off-putting to me as far as Mimimi and her character. Like,
yes, okay.
She was very off-putting to me. Like, I don't know. I just didn't really dig how. And I think a lot of other characters had talked in this episode about, like, I think they had seen them together, like, on the bridge or something. They had, like, said, and then obviously Naruto had also said that, like, she used to date his brother before he left away. Yeah. So I already, you know what I mean? She was just, her as a character, like, she was giving me very, like, weird, like, Predator vibes. And just a lot of the stuff she does is very, like, promiscuous and, like, forward with what is supposed to be, like, you feel me, the younger sibling of this person that you know what I mean, your heart still got as their way. So that was just one thing to me that kind of stood out as, like, what the hell.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the first episode, it just didn't really seem like there was much like of an identity for the show, if that makes sense. It was like, is this a slice of life? Is this going to be more shonen-y? Is this going to be more action? It's kind of hard to tell. It seemed like it was like a mixture of a lot of things, but I think that goes into the show, though. That's supposed to be like a whole bunch of chaos, and you're supposed to, like, interpret what it's supposed to mean on your own. Like, it's not handing you out what the show is about.
This first episode definitely was just a lot of, like, things happening.
Things happening.
Not really a story being told, just you're watching things happen.
Yeah, but I think that's like for me, that was like the whole show in general. It was really little subliminal messages here and there. If you catch it, you catch it. If you don't, then you just watching chaos.
Something else I noticed in this first episode, I had noted they had a fourth wall break. And during their little kiss scene, when Haruka is trying to revive Naoto after he gets hit by the Vespa.
Right.
And there's like the 3D. And then they have like a fourth wall break in the scene where they're like in a tour bus, and they talk about how hard that scene was to do. I thought that was funny. That kind of stood out to me.
When they were talking about slow motion. Mm-hmm. She was like, slow motion is hard to do. And then she was like, you got to hold your breath the whole time. That was kind of cool.
I had a theory. I thought Mimimi might be homeless. We see her. Yep. She goes to Naoto's family home. There's like also a bakery, and they give her like the day old bread. And she's like out by the bridge, and it's still late.
I think his father says something to that effect that, like,
Yeah, he asked
oh, is her family poor?
Yeah, is her family poor?
Yeah.
Asked her that. And then the portal on his head was really weird. I didn't know what did you guys make of that? I didn't really know what to make of that at that point.
As far as that point, I didn't even think it was a portal. I thought, you know what I mean? I thought like it was a knot or something. You know what I mean? Like until I had seen the robot, you feel me? And even after that, I thought that maybe it was just like I don't know, like just like a power that he had. You know what I mean? That was dormant or something. But I still didn't know what to make of it. Like
when I thought it was like something coming out of like a portal because it was like there and then. Like, I'm like, this big ass thing can't come out of that knot, so it came from somewhere. Like, what? Out of the horn or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. This is my second time watching it. I believe the first time I watched it, I was kind of just like, I thought it was just a big knot. I don't know what it really was. And then see the robot come out, it's just like, what the hell am I watching right now? It wasn't a lot of context. Like, well, two robots came out his head, they're fighting. On to the next. It's like, oh, that's it? There's no deep context about it. But, I didn't think too much about it.
Yeah. Okay. Also regarding the art and animation, I had noted that the facial expressions, I like the facial expressions in this episode. I thought they were drawn well and they were used well. But then, of course, getting to the end of it, we get to our first time seeing the outro. What do you guys think about the outro? We get the song by the Pillows, and she's like riding on the Vespa. And then we see like the live action shots. I like the live action shots. Usually they can kind of take you out of it, but I felt like this one was used well.
Yeah. I definitely think the live action shots mesh well. I ain't gonna lie, I think that was probably the most notable part of the ending for me. I know like once the credits had started rolling, I really wasn't paying too much attention to what was going on the screen. Right. I was just listening to the music, you know what I mean? Like at that time I'm checking my phone or whatever the case may be. And I remember looking up and seeing that and I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So, yeah.
I thought the visuals were okay. The song, to me, it was okay. I'd probably get this outro like a 6.5.
Yeah, for me, I listened to like an outro or an intro once, and if I'm not really feeling it, I skipped it. And that's what I did. After I listened to it, I was like, the song is okay. The visuals, I did too. The visuals kind of added to it, but I was like, that's not something I would want to listen to every episode, you know. That's just me personally. I just skipped it. It's like, it's kind of mid. Especially like in first episodes, you know, like during like the outro is kind of like the ending of the first episode. So that's the only reason I do that. But
no, I can't lie. I like the outro. Like I thought the song was good. I didn't skip it. I was kind of looking forward to the outro. And also the show doesn't have an intro. So you feel me? So for me, you feel me? I'm kind of waiting. I'm like, okay, when am I gonna hear that music? And once I didn't get any, you feel me, intro or opening, I kind of like, you know what I mean? I enjoyed the outro. I thought it was good.
What would you rate this outro?
Like you gave it 6.5. I'd give it maybe 7.5 if I'm, you know what I mean. If I'm being really generous, like it wasn't nothing special, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I would rank it a bit higher because normally intros are like way better than the outros, at least in my opinion. So I got to kind of rate that differently. Okay. I enjoyed the music in the show, especially in the first episode. I was like one of the main things that really stood out to me was like the music. It wasn't like something like necessarily built to like the story or anything like that, but it was just like pleasant to hear, if that makes sense. Like I feel like they were all appropriate in there at the right time. That's what really stuck out to me when it came to the music.
The song, I would say the song for this show was kind of mellow.
Yeah.
He's like, and where you think with how this show is, it kind of like something crazy, right?
Right, I feel that.
Yeah, but I think that goes like to the beauty of the show because it's so chaotic and it's always something that you don't expect. So I think that was probably done purposely. It's like, oh man, you expect some crazy screamo song, but it's like I some peaceful Minecraft. It's something I listen to play on Minecraft.
Man. And then I did notice Studio Gynax. This show, like Ava, was they handled the endings of the episodes the same, where they let the whole outro play, and then they have like a little credit scene, little preview to the next episode scene where they talk about it. Guys, ready to move on to episode 2?
Yeah,
sure.
All right, Neo, let's get into the second episode, Firestarter. So for the synopsis, man, I got mysterious fires are taking place in town along the river. The robot starts to fly and search for things in town along the river. Mamimi sees the flying robot and decides to worship it as a god. Later, we find out that Mamimi is most likely the one responsible for the fires, and another robot springs forth from Naota's head. This time, instead of Haruko, Naota is the one that saves the day after temporarily being eaten by the robot Kanti. All right, episode 2. This one started with kind of like a quote from Mamimi. That was kind of predicted what the episode would go about. It was, I saw a god the other day by the river on a rainy afternoon. He helped an abandoned kitty. It's a god that only I can see, a black-winged angel that came down from the heavens just for me. And I assumed that this was from probably the video game that she was playing.
Yeah.
On we saw her playing like a little mobile video game on this little handheld device. And other stuff that I have for this episode, there are obviously more references to anime and Japanese culture. We had an initial D reference that I spotted in this episode. I think the dad mentions it when he's talking to Naota. We learned that Kanti in this episode, we learned that he's from Medical Mechanica. This is also the episode, I believe, where Mamimi gives him the name Kanti. There's an Ava reference in this episode. There are a lot of references to stuff in this episode. And I think I like the scene where we see that Naota is kind of like realizing that Mamimi is the one that is responsible for the fires, and then he walks up to her and she's doing like the whole fire ritual, but she has like the lighters on her head and the candles. Yeah, it was crazy. We also get some good like flashback information with we see that Mamimi set the fire to their old school, the one that her and Naota's brother went to because she hated the school. I guess we could only assume that she was getting bullied there since we see in the present she still gets bullied now that she's in high school.
Right.
But she's the one who set the fire there, and in turn, Naota's brother saves her from the fire, and that's why, of course, she is obsessed with Naota's brother.
It's crazy, bro, because I didn't even, grasp that from the episode.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
to be honest, I didn't know what to make of the fires. I thought it was Kanti. I thought this nigga was flying.
Yeah, I thought it was Kanti at first.
Fires, you know what I mean? And then when I seen the ritual, I was like, yeah, I thought it was just a big coincidence. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he happens to look like, you know what I mean, the image in the game.
The character in the game, right.
Right. And I thought all the things that were going on in the city and that was happening was him or just, you know what I mean, a coincidence of things. I didn't.
Yeah, because in the game, she has to set fires.
Yeah, right.
This
it's
is
like a city of devils.
Yeah, that's like, I know I didn't say it, but before we start the podcast, back I was saying, it's like, this is one of those shows that you have to watch multiple times to get the outlining things. Like, that's something like me and Jordan picked up on because we've watched it a lot of times, so we're not really watching it for the story. We're kind of just watching it and picking up on small details.
Right,
like that.
Exactly.
Like, the one thing I really took from this episode, like, I think this is like my favorite episode because it's like the only one you really get like super true character development from Mamimi. Like, you kind of see like she has like this god complex for other people, like anyone that she can like attach to, she will. And that's why you see her attached to Kanti and his brother. It's like that. Yeah, and it's like, and it kind of like hint that she has like some type of like mental illness, like maybe like she's like schizo or something like that. That's why she like you see her starting the fire and like her attachment issues, and that's why she was kind of just like super obsessed and was like, I can't even think of like that. Yeah, that's the best word I can think of it. Yeah, possessive. Yeah, like you can tell it, like they kind of hint at that. That's why she was like, "Oh, he's a god," and everyone kind of was like, what are you talking about? That doesn't even make any sense." Yeah, exactly.
I heard that. I said, "That's bugging." But also they showed the imagery of Kanti like flying up, like, you know what I mean, like in
and
the
he has
clouds,
the wings in this episode.
Right, he has the wings. He literally is in a prayer stance. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Like, when she first sees him at the abandoned school, he's, you know what I mean? He's literally, like, looks like a praying angel or servant or whatever, floating, slowly ascending up. Which is why, you know what I mean? Which is why she's like, oh, he's a god. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of chalking that up to, okay, like, she's seen this and nobody else seen him in that moment or whatever the case may be. But it didn't really, I wasn't able to kind of get that bigger picture.
Yeah, it's crazy because I just thought about it. This episode is really about perspective. Like, if you remember the first half of the episode was, it's a stupid robot. He's a messenger. He's weird. He's a TV. But depending how you look at it, Mimimi's seeing him as a god, and everyone else was just looking at him as, that's just a walking weird TV.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
So damn, I didn't even think about that. This is really big on perspective,
Yeah, that's true, bro. That's true.
Yeah. Towards the end, it stood out to me when Naota is absorbed by Kanti that even Haruko was surprised by it. And we know, it's rarely anything that will surprise Haruko.
Right.
It kind of threw me as like, okay, she is on, she's on some Aizen tip at this point. Because I'm like, what is her plan? Like, she's obviously doing what she's doing purposefully.
Right.
But what is her plan? And then this obviously does not go with her plan because she's so thrown off by like, okay, why did that just happen? So that was something that stood out to me. Also, the art. I noted that I thought the art got even better. I thought the art was better in this episode than the first episode. Yeah. Specifically, I thought the use of any red and warm colors in this episode was really well used. Yeah. All the scenes with the fire and anything with just like a lot of warm colors that was used in this episode, especially contrasting with a lot of nighttime scenes. We got a lot of nighttime scenes in this episode, so I felt like the fire and all those warm colors are really beautiful, the way that they were used and just how they came across.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my more memorable episodes out of the 6.
All right. Anything else for 2?
I might, but this might be a little bit too big brain. Like,
at
least the second watch through, like, especially like when he ate Naota and he turned red. For me personally, I kind of looked at it as like maybe, Naota have this perspective, like he's an adult, he can do these adult things. He doesn't want to look at it as a kid. And the robot is more of his childish side of him, like, you can still be a kid, you can still be innocent. And when they meshed together, that was him being himself, if that makes sense. Well, but a lot of that ties into like what happens we'll talk about that at the last episode. Right. Yeah.
All right, let's get into the 3rd episode. Marquise de Carabas. I probably pronounced that wrong, but hey, is what it is. I actually looked this up. This was the name of a character from Puss in Boots, which was made reference to in this episode with the play. But for episode 3 synopsis, I got Naota is to appear in the school's play, but is uninterested in playing a talking cat. Ninamori tries to convince Naota to do the play anyways, until we hear a familiar Vespa speeding towards the two. Haruko crashes into Naota yet again as Ninamori becomes collateral. Ninamori then enjoys a spicy curry meal at Naota's residence for her troubles before an argument at school the next day leads to our monster of the week sprouting from Ninamori's head. A lot to unpack in this episode. That was more plot-based. Obviously, the episode begins with we hear about Ninamori's father, the mayor of the town, and he's having like this cheating scandal going on with his secretary, and that's kind of like stirring things up in the town. But Ninamori is unaffected by the scandal, and or at least she tries to act like she's unaffected by the scandal. So we learned that. What else? This is a cat-themed episode. I wrote that in my notes. A lot of stuff with cats. We have the scene where Mamimi has like the cat ear hat. Naota grows the cat ears. He's to play a cat in the play. Lots of references to Puss in Boots. We learned that Ninamori is the class president for their class in their grade. We learned that they're in 6th grade. Ninamori, we learned she rigs the votes to get the roles that they specifically want in the play. So she's the lead, and of course Naota is the cat. And I thought it was interesting that after, of course, we see Naota and Ninamori after the crash involving Haruko bump heads, that the robot or the monster or whatever springs from her head instead of his, which is more interesting to me later once we learn like what this like head portal thing is.
Right.
So it's like, okay, so her head works too? ? But yeah, I also noticed the sound effects for the monster during that fight, like the big step sound effects are the same as in Ava. When we hear like the Avas stepping across the city or whatever, they use the same exact sound effect. Nina Mori in the end on the stage at the play, we learned that her glasses are fake, even though she tried to like reveal to Naota when she was in his room, like, oh yeah, I wear glasses, but I usually wear contacts. And then at the end, it's like, oh no, the glasses are really fake.
So with that, I didn't think that. Okay, so earlier in the episode, she reveals that she does wear glasses. She tells him, I do wear glasses, but because she doesn't want that image, she wears contacts. But she also tells him in the room that the reason she likes to play Puss in Boots so much is because the character, the Puss in Boots, basically has to lie and fake a role, and he ends up faking the role so much that he's able to become that role and live it out. So I thought that was her way of saying, like, in the play, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna start off wearing these glasses as fake, you know what I mean? And everybody's just gonna get used to me wearing glasses, and then I'll be able to take my contacts out and really wear my glasses. You know what I mean? Like, she'll be able to become that lie that she's, or that mask that she's portraying. So yeah, I thought that was like a kind of a cool way of like showing her growth. That, you know what I mean? Like, she's basically saying, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna start to show more of my true self. That's what I thought of it. I didn't think it was just her, like, you know what I mean? Like, bullshitting with glasses. I thought she was trying to take that first step and like, all right, let me try to start being myself.
Yeah, see, I thought we was on the same page there for a minute. Maybe I took it and looked at it differently. No, I looked kind of. I looked at it as the whole glasses thing. Instead of her comparing it to herself, I think there's a lot of comparisons between them two, and that was her way of trying to see him like, hey, you're trying to pretend to be your brother, and you're not your brother. So instead of trying to pretend to be him, be yourself. That's like the two of them are a lot similar than what they think they are, and it really shows that Naoto's kind of a hypocrite. You know, he was like, oh man, you kind of seem so mature and rich, there's no way you have these issues, but then in all reality, it's like, just no matter what walk of earth you come from, you kind of go through some type of issues. That's just how I look at it.
And she does say she's rich in this episode.
So
You're definitely right. I think because I also, when they were arguing in class, and you know, he was like, the play is dumb, the play is for kids, and she had to tell him, like, nigga, we're kids. Like, we're in 6th grade. I definitely get that in terms of like him being a hypocrite, or just him wanting, like with most kids, like, you know what I mean? Like, as you grow up, you know what I mean? There comes a point in time where a lot of kids want to grow up too fast. You know what I mean? Don't necessarily want to enjoy being a kid, or all they see are like the negative cons and connotations that come with like being a kid, with being childish or looked at as not being mature enough or able to handle certain things. So, I see what you're saying.
I'm happy you said that. I was going to bring that to the last episode, but I think that's like the underlying theme of the whole show is just growing up in general and realizing that you don't have to rush it. There's really no point. There's a lot more, like, the world is a lot bigger than what you think it is. Like, was it this episode or the next where like he brought up like the steam reference, because the steam from the iron was all around his city. He's like, the theme is so the theme is so thick, it seems like there's nothing else going on in the world, which kind of shows like he's so self-centered. He's only thinking about what he wants. He's not thinking about how it affects everybody else.
This was definitely one of my favorite episodes, though. Like, I feel like just because, I don't know, like with Mamimi, with the last episode, you know, like I gained sympathy for her. You know, I felt like, oh, she's getting bullied. Like, you know what I mean? Her parents are poor, this and that. So I definitely had that like heart tug for that character. But I think just having this character, Nina Mori, like pop up on the scene and like, you know what I mean? Like, my initial thought is like, when they're showing us, you know, I mean, I'm like, okay, she's kind of like popular and she's acting like things don't really faze her. But seeing like her growth throughout the episode, I feel like she really became like one of my favorite characters. This is one of my favorite episodes for sure.
Yeah, I feel like she was definitely a strong character. Maybe would have been in line for one of my favorites if we had spent more time with her, but it was a good episode. I also noticed in the little school argument, we get a little bit of characterization with her because Naota says, nobody's coming to this play. She's like, oh, my parents are going to be at the play. So, it's important to her that at least that aspect, like, no, we need to do this play. My parents are coming.
Right. Yeah, and that was something. It was a lot of things. Like, she pointed out, like, they'll be there together as opposed to not worrying about the scandal. And then even, like, when they first show her with the new secretary, I think the new secretary says something like, I'm your dad's new secretary. I'm not going to cause any trouble. And Nina Mori tells her, like, yeah, I see you're a smart one because you spent the night last night, but you changed your clothes this morning. I'm like, I was like, this little girl is crazy, bro.
The scene with the secretary when she tries to go home and there's like paparazzi and media all by her house. The scene with the secretary just like pops out from behind the pole and she's like sneaking away from all the paparazzi is so funny. Just like the way she moves and she's like so sneaky and sly. It's hilarious, the animation in that scene.
Yeah, that was funny.
Because like she almost just pops out of the shadows.
Yeah, I think one part she was like in the sewer, like
sewer
right up. I was rolling.
She's like teleporting around to avoid the paparazzi. It's hilarious the way they animated that scene. But that's all I got for 3.
Yeah.
If you guys had anything else, matter of fact, I think I had in my extra notes some extra stuff about 3.
Also, like the fight scene with the robot, like as the robot manifested, I thought that scene was pretty cool. Inside the school, there also was a callback to like one of the Curry jokes where I think the robot had like Curry had like got into it somehow, and the robot
actually, I had some stuff about that.
I thought that was.
They talk about Little Prince Curry, like a little junior brand of curry, just like a real curry brand in Japan. And then we see Naota, he makes a joke like, this, mine's is still hot. This is the Little Prince Goes to New York curry. And I actually looked it up, and that's actually it's a reference to the Eddie Murphy movie Coming to America. Yeah, and that's like the Japanese title for the film is Little Prince Goes to New York. Also, I didn't know that. In episode 3, we see the scene with the monster fight. The teacher has the Volkswagen Beetle, the red Volkswagen Beetle that gets destroyed. You can see a figurine of Kenny from South Park pop up when her car gets destroyed. Like it's like in the wreckage. Mamimi in this episode, she makes a reference to a play that she was in back when she was in, I guess, elementary school or middle school, and that play is King Midas and the Donkey Ears, which is again playing into this the whole theme with the ears and stuff going on. But yeah, that's all I have for 3. Just have some extra facts for it. Ready to move on to episode 4?
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's get into this episode 4, man. Full Swing is the name of this episode. Naota is visited by Amaral of the Galaxy Patrol Police and is told to be wary of Haruko. Haruko's antics with Naota's dummy of a father bring Naota to his boiling point, and he goes full Keiichi on the dummy. After another talk with Amaral, Naota finds his real father, and Haruko and Naota head off to stop Special Satellite Shiozaki from destroying all of Ma Base. Together, Naota and Haruko save the city in a finale that is all too reminiscent of Eva Episode 6. Y'all seen Ava Episode 6, the sniper one, when they shoot the little diamond angel? This finale really reminded me of that episode. But yeah, let's get into this episode 4. Break down this crazy episode. Let's see what I had for this episode. We learned Naota's brother's name early on in this episode. Tasku. They're talking about him. Starts off with the baseball game, and they're like, bruh, we need Tasku. We're getting our ass beat. If we had him here, this would not be happening. We learned that Naota is refusing to swing the bat. He doesn't even want to take a chance at being great at baseball because I guess he figures, he's just going to be, compared to his brother every time. So Why even try? The art style was so different. I had a question mark on this episode. I wrote down, is this a new studio that's doing the art for this episode? Because the art style just looks so much different. We see how possessive Mamimi is in this episode with the cat and all these other things that she starts giving the name Taku.
Yeah. That's when she found the stray cat.
Yeah.
Worst character in the show.
Well, Mamimi.
Yes, I hate Mamimi.
Getting into some more of this episode. What'd you guys make of the Haruko's antics with the dummy dad?
Oh man. Now me personally, I feel like this episode definitely like cemented in my mind that this show is freaky as hell, man. Like it just like I feel like there were a lot of like overtly like perverted like themes or just like images, situations, and I don't know, man. I think like I also watched it in dub, so that was another thing. Like I feel like the dub actors did a great job because you know what I mean. Like I felt like every scene was delivered, well. Like scenes that were supposed to be dramatic or intense or scenes that were supposed to like evict some type of emotion out of me. I feel like they did. I feel like they did a good job of it. But also with that being said, everything that was racy or edgy or raunchy that was said was like put on extra display because I speak English. So, you know what I mean? I don't even have to really be paying attention to know that when I'm supposed to be watching an anime and I'm hearing her talk about why I want to stay up and then this is flabby, I'm like, what's going on? Or like that was, or I don't know if it was this episode or the one before where I guess he was like giving her, or was it the clone that was giving her a massage with its beard, and she's like squirming, and it's very raunchy. It's very
on the rewatch. I was like, this is not his dad. Because we seen his dad. His dad is weird, but his dad doesn't act like, he almost seemed not weird enough. Like he seemed too chill to be like his dad. Like his dad is usually bouncing off the walls. Like his dad, was he high or something? He's just he's so loopy in this episode. Amaral, we see that after he meets, obviously we don't know who he is at this point. When he talks to Naota at the bakery, he gets the bread. He goes to the base, and he's talking to Kitsurubami, and he's like, the bread is poisoned. I thought that was interesting. I don't really know if that even became relevant towards the end, but I thought that was interesting. Also, him telling Naota to stay away from Haruko, and I was like, by this point, you could tell that she's trying to use him for something. Right, she's definitely trying to use him for something, but you just don't know what it is.
But talking about that, it definitely shows like because he's starting to be so infatuated with her, he started to start to lose touch with reality. Like he was so focused on her so much, he didn't even notice that his dad or somebody else portraying to be his dad wasn't even his actual dad.
Caught up in his jealousy, right? Ava, thought it was Ava reference, or it just looks so Ava. When we see Amaral go back to the base and there's like all the screens and Kitsurubami's in like the little militant outfit. That's like, oh my god, this is so Ava. This is like Shinji's dad. This reminds me so much of the scenes with Shinji's dad. Higurashi, the scene where we see that it looks like Naota may have just smacked the shit out of his dad with his bat. It reminded me of Higurashi at the beginning. We get Keiichi and Higurashi. He's like kills the two girls with the bat and there's like blood all over the floor. That reminded me of Higurashi. I don't think this really ended up becoming relevant, but we see the fat cat kill Haruko, and like the crazy like dream sequence vision that Naota has in this episode. So I wrote that down. Haruko, after they recruit Conti to the baseball team and they see like, oh, he's a god. Like this robot can really play baseball. I thought it was hilarious that Haruko in the game following that refused to pitch to him. She just like hits him with the ball every time, walks him. Like, I'm not pitching to him. He's not going to embarrass me out here.
Right.
We get foreshadowing to the finale of this episode early on where Haruko is helping Naota with his baseball swing. And she's like, yeah, that's your target up there, that twinkling star. And he's like, what is that?
It's flickering.
And, of course, we learn later that is the satellite that, you know, the Galaxy Patrol Police has, like, coming toward Earth. What else? We learned this is the first time we get a reference to Pirate Lord Adamusk, who becomes, of course, more relevant later. Interesting to me that his father was like dehydrated and he had to like revive him with hot water.
Right, yeah.
I was like, what is going on here? Is he dead or something?
Suck dry, man.
Amaral tells Naota in this episode that the guitar is basically creating what they call an NO. He says it uses the left and right side of the brain to open up an interdimensional channel capable of transportation. So again, like I had already like assumed, basically like a portal or something like that. So far we've seen the NO work on Naota and Ninamori. Amaral makes reference that the bomb that they have headed towards the Earth is a backup plan of some sorts. I thought that was interesting. And I thought like maybe would they risk the Earth? Are they like going to risk the Earth to get rid of Haruko? Like they're so eager to kill her that they're like, fuck it, we're going to chuck this bomb at the Earth and see if she can do anything with it. We learned Haruko's real name, Raharu.
Yeah, Raharu.
That Amaral tells Naota about what's the name? The scene where he's like questioning him, I thought was really hilarious because he's like, why don't you just hit him with the baguette? Why don't you just hit him with the bread? The finale. The finale I thought was really great.
Yeah.
This is the first time we see Naota, in a sense, save the day without being fused with Conti. This is just him by himself. And it's funny to me at the end, everybody's like, damn, he swung the bat. Nobody expected him to swing the bat. Yeah. We get a hilarious line from Mimi where she's like, if that thing hits, do you think we have school tomorrow? Like, if that thing hits the Earth, do you think we have school tomorrow?
And they already just said, like, it's just going to destroy the Earth. I'm like,
oh, my God. Yeah, that was basically all I had. I had jotted down for this episode, but again, I thought the finale was really great, really entertaining. We see Naota. Everybody's surprised by the guitar that she pulls out of his head after putting like the little shampoo cap on his head. And he stops it. But then they say, oh, it's going to blow up. Because all Naota has done is stop it. And then she comes and with both of them together, they knock it out of the atmosphere and avoid, absolute destruction of the Earth.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't say anything about like the slider scene. There's like, oh, Naota's gonna stop it. Then he was like, it's a slider. Maybe that.
It's dipping.
He called it
a slider.
Yeah. Oh, so maybe that's the difference between the sub and the dub.
He was like, bro, it's moving. This is, and that made me laugh too because I was like, oh shit, like it's like a pitch. It ain't, you know what I mean? It ain't just like something falling out the sky.
Yeah, especially when it came, it was actually a baseball.
I thought that was interesting. I thought that shit was so cool.
Yeah. Is there anything else for this episode? Full swing?
Nah, not really. I think I covered it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
All right, man. Let's get into episode 5. Brittle Bullet. Amaral and the Galaxy Patrol Police continue to hunt Haruko while Naota struggles to come to grips with his feelings for Haruko and Mimimi. Later, yet another medical mechanima contraption comes from Naota's head. Haruko, along with Adamusk, work together to defeat it, but something is different this time. Even after separating from Naota, Kanti remains cloaked in Otamusk's power. All right, episode 5. A lot of well, first of all, I want to know, I like the animation and the art style for this episode, going back to another change of the art style.
Right.
This starts with a lot of like BB gun fights and stuff like that. Did you guys catch the Lupin reference at the beginning with the dad? He's dressed up like Lupin from Lupin the Third. He has on the red jacket and everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, that's Lupin. What else? The kids. I thought that was interesting. The kids driving the pickup truck. I'm like, bro, y'all in 6th grade.
That shit was for,
and then I was like, oh, that's some country shit. Because they was like, oh, it's fine.
Back roads.
Yeah, we just only drive down here by the river.
Yeah, especially early on, he was like, oh, reverse. Like, oh, which one is reverse? How do you do that?
Oh, my God. Of course, famously, this one has the South Park reference when Amuro is like in the salon getting his hair cut, and he's on the phone with Kitsurubami, and he changes like to the South Park art style. I thought of Ava again because they in the pickup truck, in the scene with the pickup truck, they're talking to Naota, and they're like, "Have you heard the rumors, Naota? They saying it was you piloting that robot.
Yeah.
You saved the town the other day." And I'm like, I've seen this before. Like, Shinji, you was the one piloting the robot. I'm like, bro. And then I'm like, he wasn't even in the robot last episode. He was just there. He just did it. So that was funny. We get a Kenny reference from South Park when Mamimi's questioning him about his feelings for Haruko, and he like tightens up his hoodie, and you just see his eyes, and he's like mumbling like Kenny from South Park. That's hilarious. I figured out in this episode that the little eyebrow sushi things that he gave Naota closes the NO portal. I questioned, does Haruko have a charm ability? Was an interesting question to me because we see after the fight and her interacting a little bit with Amuro, that even he's like, he's jealous of Naota and he's like having his feelings for her. And so I'm like, this is like the last person to really fall for him. But I'm like, does she have like some sort of charm ability? It made me kind of question that and think maybe. We see Naota. He finally mans up and he tells Mamimi, "Stop calling me Taku. I'm the Naota. You're crazy." That was a great scene. The shot of him when he lands and then Kanti lands behind him and he's about to go save the day. The monster with the shotgun. I was like, what? He like pulled out the shotgun. He pulled out the models from MW2. And then he has like another gun. That was awesome. We see Otamus, his guitar. I guess the guitars are like some weapons of some sort. It's not really explained in this first season. But he has a Gibson EBO 1961. And yeah, that's what I had for this episode. Brittle Bullet. You guys have anything else for this one?
Yeah, me personally, I thought like the animation for that fight between like them and the big robot, I thought that was like the best fight scene in all the whole first season. My opinion, of course, the next episode was a really good fight, but it's like how it was animated, like how fluent it was. It didn't really seem choppy, like, oh, this part happened on more story or more dialogue. It was super clean, and it kind of like built up into the next episode too. Yeah, easily the best, at least scene in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely a bigger fight. Probably the toughest fight yet for this show, because usually we see, okay, if Kanti can't beat it, Kanti's going to absorb Naota, and they somehow channel Otamus' power, which is when Kanti turns red. And even that this time around wasn't enough. They had to like literally channel his power and grab his weapon, his guitar, and then that is finally what gives them enough power to deal the final blow to this week's enemy. But yeah, definitely another very entertaining episode. Like the guns.
Yeah,
like Nauta's goggles.
Yeah, I definitely liked this episode. I think, like you said earlier, I liked the animation style that they took towards the like pellet gun fight. I thought that was pretty cool with like his dad and him and Haruko in the field. I also like the fight between Haruko and Amuro just in the barbershop. When she starts trying to like waterboard him. And then she basically, you know what I mean? They basically have a little dialogue and then they start fighting. I thought that was cool, even though it was very like over the top.
Yeah, he got the goons pull up and they
right. It was almost like reminiscent of like Neo in the Matrix to me. Just how, you know what I mean? How they always in suits and they all, you know what I mean? It just seemed like impossible numbers and she's like dodging bullets and shit. So I thought that was cool.
He's like, you can't be real.
I definitely like like you said, I definitely like the final fight scene as well. I thought that was cool.
Especially the second time. It's funny you said she had the power to attract. I was like, that's kind of crazy. You know, it's kind of like she's like fool's gold. You know, it's like on the outside, like on the outside, it's like, oh damn, that's gold. But when you get to know, it's like there's a little rotten here. Like it's not.
The way she's gonna use you for whatever the fuck.
It's like everything that glimmer ain't gold. Yeah, it's just
And afterwards we see Naota is like the bullet that is like the kill shot. And then he falls to the ground, and Haruko's like standing on his face just looking at Artemis.
Which might be like another reference. Oh, like how he's just a stepping stool for her. Like
he's that's what I thought when I seen it. I thought, damn, like she don't care about him at all. Like she don't stand on this nigga face. Like
And Amuro told him like, bruh, you better watch out. All right, let's get into this finale, man. The last episode, FLCL IMAX or FL Climax. Haruko and Kanti are gone after the episode 5 finale, and Naota has become the biggest simp in the multiverse, guys. Man, Armao explains who Artemis is to Naota, while Mamimi finds a new pet. Haruko eventually returns and Naota jumps headfirst back into his toxic relationship. Meanwhile, Mamimi's new pet grows too big and combines with Kanti and Naota to reveal Artemis' true form as the Pirate King, Luffy. After destroying Medical Mechanima's base, he flies off back into space, leading a frustrated Haruko to vow that she would track him down yet again. All right, the last episode of Fooly Cooly. What you guys have for this episode? I beginning of the episode, I'm just like, bro, he's down bad. He's down horrendous. We see him. He's walking around town. He's sulking. He's by the bridge with his friends. He sees Mamimi. He doesn't even help her. He just like he just goes home, goes upstairs. Like, I'm just gonna go to sleep. We have a call back to episode 1. After he goes back downstairs for dinner, his dad calls him for dinner, and Haruko's in the kitchen yet again. And then they go back to the little manga art style like they did in episode 1.
Right.
Or when he finds her in the kitchen.
Yeah, they birthed the force like, we said we was going to do it again because it's too expensive.
Right. But then, then fourth wall break. Like, if we don't do it, people think we lazy. That was fried.
But I definitely like this episode because like the last one's like him coming to terms with his feelings for Mamimi, but this one is definitely like, oh damn, Mamimi's cool and all, but the person I actually love is
I think like I really enjoyed the last episode. I think it definitely was a culmination of like Naoto's growth as a character like throughout the 6 episodes. Like you guys were saying, like last, episode 5, I definitely liked how he talked his shit to Mamimi. I don't like her character at all. I feel like from the jump, like I said, she made me uncomfortable. I felt like she was basically like manipulating him and just using him as, you know what I mean, some sort of like emotional outlet and crutch for a lot of different reasons. So I feel like her being jealous of his relationship with Haruko, and him like trying to prove to her that, you know what I mean, like if this is a problem, you know what I mean, like if this is a problem for you, then it's cool, I can get rid of it. And then her like stubbornness and her like rejecting him still was very like reminiscent of real life and how like I feel like a lot of the times you can it like that, like that's how things go. Like a lot of people do have like hot and cold streaks or kind of like right person, wrong time. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm into you, you're into somebody else, you're into me, I'm into somebody else. That sort of like love triangle thing. But I definitely like how he stood up to her and was like, fuck her. I didn't think that he was down bad simping for Haruko just because I feel like, first of all, Haruko for president, man. She's the GOAT. I think she's a very chaotic character, but just in terms of like, I'm kind of past like, oh, she's a bad guy, so I don't like, you know what I mean? Or oh, they're a good guy, so I fuck with them. I'm like, I feel like honestly, like in terms of a character, bro, I feel like she's a very like, I feel like Naruto was very relatable, and I feel like their relationship was very relatable in the sense that, like you said, like some people might call it fool's gold, but at the end of the day, that's who he really had feelings for, and I feel like she was, even though she was taking advantage of him, and come on now, he's a 6th grader, so obviously she's not gonna bump uglies with him. I feel like she definitely gave him the time of day and respect that Mamimi didn't give him. So with that being the case, you know what I mean? It's like, are you gonna choose somebody that only wants to have a good time and is with you now, or are you gonna go back to somebody that doesn't really like you and they just with you because you're easy to, you know what I mean? Because you're a crutch. So I feel like picking the lesser of two evils, I feel like Haruko was definitely the lesser of two evils, and you feel me? I feel like she was. That's why I like her character a lot.
She was evil as shit.
I completely disagree.
I totally disagree.
Getting back into the episode, man. I mean, even to double down on just how terrible a person Haruko is, she runs away with Naota after he finds her back at the house, and they have a whole scene where like she's like, "Oh my God, this ramen or whatever they're eating is terrible," and she trades with him. Yeah, and he's like, "God, this is bad. Let me get mine back," and she's like, "No." He's like, "Oh my God, you're always just thinking about yourself." The dad is wild as fuck because the teacher comes over and she's like, "Bro, Naota's not been at school for a while. Like, what's going on?" He's like, "Oh, Naota can handle himself. He's fine." He's like, "Oh, when I was at school, everybody was getting on me because I had to take care of the class hamster and it died. But unlike that hamster, Naota could take care of himself." I'm like, okay, he's hitting a whole new level of wacky. We learned that Medical Mechanica is using these iron things to flatten planets all across the universe. Right. Which is like, okay, what are they really gaining from that? I guess we got to see later seasons to get more context on that. I noticed that Adamus Naota, once he's like got the red form and he fuses with Adamus' power, he has both guitars. Like he's dual wielding. Yeah. And you see he has the normal guitar he always has, but he also has the Gibson. He has Adamus guitar, and then later on they fuse into like one guitar. So that's just something that I saw in the animation. Haruko, before she leaves, one last dig at Naota. She calls him Takun twice before she leaves off on the Vespa to go back into space. She's so horrible. We get to see middle schooler Naota at the end with his friends. They're in like the black button-up uniforms for middle school, so we know some time has definitely passed. They tell us Mamimi has left town and become a photographer, so she's gone, and Naota says he doesn't know what's happened to her since then. But that's how this episode and this season wraps up.
Yeah, but to the guitar things I was saying earlier about like the robot being like his childish size, and they came together. Like this episode was him kind of coming to the grips of, this is who I want to be. I want to be like my brother, mature, always strong, always doing the right thing. But also, I'm a kid. I'm gonna fuck up. I'm gonna make mistakes. Right. And I think that was him coming to grips of who he is, and that's why he was kind of just like, I love you, but I don't necessarily need either of you. I can choose myself and be by myself and be okay with that. It's like, I love you, but I'm gonna do that from a distance. Like, I like you, but you're not good for me. Like, I honestly think she was a terrible person, and you really see like her true colors this episode. She's like, oh man, I only needed you for the portal. You were just a stepping stone. You love me, but I loved what you could do for me, not necessarily loving you as a person.
She's a menace because we see in this episode, Naruto, he like takes and uses Artemis' power.
Yeah.
And before that, it's kind of been almost hinted at as like Haruko is like she likes Artemis like as a person relationship wise or something like that.
Yeah.
But then she says like, I'm the only one who can have his power.
Yeah,
so she's on some like power hungry Orochimaru Sasuke type like. No, she's after power. That's what she's after, his powers.
Yeah, you can kind of see that through like the series. You know, like you see her eating a lot and stuff like that. It really kind of like hints at like how absolutely gready she actually is.
Yeah, good point. Great point.
You changed your mind about she's a terrible person yet?
No.
Oh,
She's a person of I feel like I'll put it like this. She might not be a good person. I feel like she's a genuine person. I feel like she's
a genuine.
She's a
how?
She's a genuine person in terms of.
Did you watch the wrong show too?
Listen to what I'm saying. What I mean, my bad. Genuine might not be the word. She's authentic. She's authentic. She's not pretending to be.
Yes, she is.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes, she was.
No, hear me out.
She's literally manipulating Naruto.
I'll listen.
Hear me out. I feel like even though we're saying, she was playing with Naruto, at the end of the day, bro, she 19. He's in 6th grade, bro. Like, come on. Nobody's thinking. Now he might feel like, dang, like, and I feel like even at the end of the season finale, when he flew in with the power, and he told her like, "I love you," and gave her a kiss. But like you said, even with that was like a culmination of everything. You feel me? And after that, Adam is literally like power leaves. I feel like that was, you know what I mean? I feel like that was him saying, like you said, like, okay, she might not like me for me, you feel me? Like, but I have feelings for her. I feel like that's something that's very relatable, and I feel like with her being her being true to her goals, I can't fault her for that. I can't say like, you feel me? It's not like she didn't move in and say, "Hey, I'm gonna be your girlfriend. I'm gonna be here forever, man. Next 50 years, we like it." Like, no, cause she came in and she had a plan. She had shit she was doing. But she wasn't Mamimi. You feel me? She wasn't in his ear like. She wasn't in his ear like. You feel me? Like, I feel like she wasn't in his ear trying to like be possessive of Naruto and like, you know what I mean? Like she like even on the Full Swing episode, she literally gave him the guitar. Said, "All right, bro. Swing, cuz if you got it in you to swing, bro, just try your hardest." And as she left, she literally said, like, "Hey, bro, if he can hit it and save the day, that's cool. If not, it really don't matter to me." And she literally said, like, "Damn, I don't even know if he really got it in him to swing." So, and then came back to save him. Like, all right, I guess I'll fuck with you a little bit. Like, I thought, like, I fuck with that because I feel like, yes, her character is very chaotic, but you know what I mean? Like, she was authentic to her mission, cuz, and what she had going on. Like, whereas I feel like Mamimi, cuz, she's blowing in the wind, bro. She's, you know what I mean? She's on the cat. She on this tycoon, this tycoon, this tycoon, this Tatsuki, this Tatsuki. Like, bro, like, pick somebody. I didn't like that shit, bro. Like,
you do realize she's not all the way together, right?
That's fine.
But she was honest from the jump, though. It's not like she was hiding her attention. She
wasn't, and you got to remember, Haruko told him, "I'm an alien, cuz." He's the one that was like, no, you feel me? He's the one that was like, you know what I mean? Like, he disregarded what she said and he put her in a position in his life that he wanted her to be in. She never said, "This is why I'm here. This is why we're going to hang out. I want to hang out with you. I want to do this, and that." Because she came with a plan. That's like you finding an alien. If you find an alien and this nigga is trying to take over the world, you can make him your best friend all you want. But if this nigga's here to take over the world, that's what he's here to do. So are you really going to be mad at him? Like, damn, bro, you was here to take over the world, bro. You ain't want to be my friend. No, that nigga never said he wanted to do that. So I got to take it at face value.
He just was acting like he was trying to fuck you or something.
Hey. Hey, as of me, I feel how Naruto feels. If it was me looking back, I guarantee you he doesn't feel like, man, he
would have been just as down
bad.
Man, she was touching on me, y'all. Oh, he's literally like, bro, I just had a bad bitch that was older that I got to XYZ with, cuz. And what happened? He moved on with his fucking life and he's fine, bro.
She is a terrible human being.
If Mamimi had a big of an impact on him as Haruko did, that nigga be fucked up. Nigga smoking, never knows best cigarettes on the side of the road, getting bullied by the river like her.
But she wasn't trying to molest the elementary school student.
Yes, it was.
She wasn't making out with him.
She literally held him down and gyrated on top of this nigga and said, "You gotta let me do this because I'm gonna explode."
We got any more thoughts on episode 6?
Nah, man. Not
more thoughts on episode 6? All right, man. Let's go get into these closing arguments about Fooly Cooly, man. What did we think about Fooly Cooly season 1 as a show? What did we think about the characters? What was our favorite episode? Start with just overall thoughts of the show, man. I'll go first. Thought it was a good show. I had already, remembered it being a good show when I saw it last time, but now watching it again, refreshing my memory, definitely did a lot of crazy like Gainax show type things. The art and animation, I did not remember being this good. I thought they were really good. And then as far as the story, for the nuggets of information that they did give us, I thought it was a story. Haruko as a character was kind of frustrating to follow, but other than that, it was a good story. It was a good watch. It was entertaining. What do you guys think about it?
If I had to give it a grade, me personally, I would give it like a B. It was really, I'll say for a first watch, probably like a C, but my second watch, I give it definitely a B. It's one of those shows, the more you watch it, I think the better it gets. Really loved it. The characters, at first I didn't really love, but not after my second watch, I grew more attached to the characters and like really understood like how complex they are in this hectic show, which really goes to the writing of it. If you can like make good detailed characters in a show that seems really wacky and crazy on the outside, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I'd give it a B if I had to give it a grade.
Yeah, I think the show was great, man. I'm not gonna lie. I would probably have to say same as Dwayne. I'd probably go a step further. Like my first watch through, I'd give it a B. Just off of like, bouncing ideas off of you guys and like hearing your takes and stuff and talking to you guys. I would say that like if I were to watch it again, I probably would give it like even higher grade, like an A or so. The only problem I had with the show was just like my first watch through, I didn't really know what the hell was going on, and a lot, like you said, just from the outside, it seems very like wacky and like convoluted story. But everything else of the show, I loved. I thought the music was good. I thought it was very funny. I thought the animation was great. Definitely for it to come out in the 2000s, that's crazy as hell. I think the animation is great. I loved all the characters. Most of the characters I loved. I watched it in dub. I thought it was dubbed very well. Yeah.
I watched the sub. I thought the sub was good.
I did write out a question for you, T.
Yeah.
So, was it a B after talking to us, or was it a B after watching it? I feel like for me, when I first watched it, if I would have had this deep conversation and really understood it, it would have probably been a B for me. But I feel like my initial after watching it was a C. So is it a B now, or was it a B as soon as you got done watching it?
I would say for me it was a B as soon as I got done watching it. Okay. Yeah, like and I think that was just because off of like episodes 5 and 6, like the action scenes, like a lot of things about the show I did like. I would say that was like the only thing that held me back from saying that this was like one of my favorite shows ever was the fact that I didn't know what the fuck was going on, and which made me so excited to, you feel me, get here to talk to y'all to see if I could help make sense of that. So yeah, but I would say like as soon as I got done watching it, like I see why it was so revered, and like I said, like when I finished watching it, I kind of like rush to YouTube to see like what other people what sense other people could make of it to help me make sense of it. But like I said, everything else I love.
Okay, that makes sense. Because me personally, because coming in, I had it as a B, but after talking, I was teetering on B+. I was like, especially like when you're talking to some other like-minded people or like people that know more about the show than you, they can like bring different insights. It definitely changes. If I was just curious, I didn't know if that's how you feel. Yeah, me personally was a C my first watch. What would you have it as if you remember the first time you watched it? If you had to give
first
it a grade?
time, I probably had it as an A.
Really?
Yeah, I really liked it. I thought they got a lot out of the show, especially for a show that was essentially bare bones, in a bare bones way, just essentially about a space terrorist in Haruko chasing down this like godly power essence to Earth. Yeah. Like it's just basically about this space terrorist who's trying to get a hold of this ungodly power, and it just so happens to go to Earth with Medical Mechanica, and they obviously trap Optimus, and she's trying to go to Earth to save him. Okay. And I feel like just off of that bare bones premise, they make a lot with that.
Okay, maybe I had it at a C because I definitely remember because I watched that after watching shows like a Death Note, Psycho Pass. I think I got done watching after shows. They're like the story is like super good and the message is obvious, and maybe after then. I just watched that at a bad time. Maybe that's what it is.
I definitely understand why you said that and why you would rate it like that, because like I said, that was one of the biggest problems I had with the show was just, like how not clear the story was and, not being able to make sense of everything.
Well, we do that. So as an outside perspective of someone that's never seen the show, what do you think about Theo just from hearing what we said?
It seemed pretty chaotic, and not to mention what you guys talking about Haruko in general compared to what I know. I don't think I quite enjoy the show as much because of Haruko. But as far as like the other concepts of how you said like how Haruko is with the other characters and how some of the premises and concepts they have like sexuality a little bit and like a couple other random stuff that was in there, I say I like it maybe. But there's certain stuff in there that you guys described that I was like, I'm not sure. Especially how I came in blind with Alternative. I don't know if I feel the same about the one you guys watch. Oh, okay. As far as the MC goes, I think I hate his guts, if I'm being honest with you. But that's just me for what you guys take on that.
Yeah. Now to
But okay, let me ask you three. What characters in the show do you feel you relate to? That you feel close related to? If any.
My honest answer is none of them. I don't feel like they're relatable, but not relatable to real life, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like, there's like a lot of characters in anime, but that's relatable, but that's not relatable to an actual human. For most humans.
See, my opinion perspective is the exact opposite. I would say I honestly felt like I could relate to Naruto a lot. Mm-hmm. With a lot of different which is pride, but I feel like and for a lot of different reasons, like like with him being young and growing up and not, like wanting to feel older, obviously as a kid I kind of struggle with that. I'm also like I think like the youngest out of a lot of my friends, so like just growing up in high school and like having friends that are driving or jobs or different things like before me. You feel me? You kind of feel that way. Also as far as the love triangle, I done kind of been through that in different ways. So a lot of that kind of related to me with just like, just like his feelings of like having somebody that is showing you attention or things that you're interpreting as they liking you, and then
genuine affection towards you,
right? And then like you kind of, then you kind of like doubling back to that, and then not being what you thought, and then like or like having feelings for somebody who might not be the best for you, just like different things like that. I could relate to, or I could see how like those could translate to real life. So I thought that Naruto was a very like relatable character. I feel like he, like in my eyes, I feel like he handled things the best way he could as him being so young and who he was.
Okay.
So
So that's the person you would gravitate to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And so I definitely loved the MC. I love Naruto. I thought he was a great character.
Okay. I'd say nobody. If anybody, Nina Mori, but other than that, just about everybody else in this show was horrible. Just a horrible person.
Just horrible people.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Let's get into a favorite character. Who was you guys' favorite character?
Don't get shitty. But Mimi. I definitely feel like she brought the story together. Like, yeah, she wasn't a great person, but she was necessary to get that outside perspective of like somebody from the outside looking in. She wasn't in like the initial big group, but seeing her perspective, as just a bystander was really important. Like comparing her outlook on it to mine versus what everyone else thinks.
Right.
Yeah, my favorite character was also Mamimi. I thought Mamimi in this show was hilarious. Yes, Mamimi as a person wasn't perfect, but the differentiation I made between Mamimi and Haruko was Mamimi really did not have control, or wasn't like she didn't know really what she was doing was wrong. Like she was kind of like a victim in a sense. To where
ignorance type.
Like of her own ignorance to where she's just like she's been through some stuff and like she's not all the way together, so she almost just gets to play off as this cute ditzy character, this kind of like the comic relief of the show, where she's also, yes, she does things that are reprehensible, but she really doesn't, she can't be held responsible for what she does. She's not doing it intentionally trying to hurt somebody, kind of like what Haruko is doing. I really like the end where she's running around with the dog, and the dog is eating everything. She like steals everybody's phones. And she like feeds it to the dogs, and she's like, "Oh, we're gonna go get back at everybody whoever bullied me, and I'm gonna feed them, the dog, all their like things, all their items." But yeah, I thought Mamimi was probably my favorite character. A lot of just outside of the show, a lot of the shots I see and screens, and I see a lot of screenshots and stuff of this show just on anime sites and the internet and stuff, like either on Twitter or something. A lot of them are shots of Mamimi. It's like, I guess they just like the edgy shots of her smoking and stuff. But I was like, I see a lot of the shots I'm seeing. I'm like, I see these all the time on the internet in anime circles.
Yeah, it's beautiful writing that she ended up being a photographer because she was the one on the outside watching it, watching everything. So it makes sense that she would be the one taking the pictures, and she has this outside perspective, which kind of makes sense that that's what she would want to go and do.
Yeah.
As far as me, man, my favorite character would have to be Haruko. Can't lie. I think she was she was my favorite character. She was very chaotic. Something about her drive to her mission, you know what I mean, as being like this terrorist, and like even though she was kind of like in the mix, I definitely thought it was interesting, like towards the end, like once I kind of learned like who she was, and you know what I mean, like once I learned like, okay, damn, she's like orchestrating this shit, and like she, you know what I mean, like she has a hand to play and all, and like putting pieces together. I thought that was really interesting. I think and like earlier to what you said, Theo, I think a lot of the reason why I didn't like Mamimi was because I related so much to Naruto, that I think like a lot of the like seeing how she treated Naruto and like some of the things she did, I just feel like my judgment on it was very biased because I don't, like I said, I related to him, so I kind of, you know what I mean, I kind of like thought about it like, damn, well if that happened to me, you know what I mean, I'd be like, damn, I'd be shitty, you know what I mean, if that was me. So I think that's kind of why I like gravitated towards not fucking with her at all. But as far as Haruko, I think that she's my favorite character in the show for real. And yeah, if she's a constant over the rest of the seasons, then Fooly Cooly will definitely be something that I will end up watching just in its entirety, just to get just to see a lot of more of her character.
Is this a show that you guys would recommend to somebody?
Not to somebody who doesn't know a lot about anime. I think that was one of the things that stood out to me was watching it in dub. Like I said, I feel like it was a lot of things stood out to me just kind of like overtly like perverted and like real racy and stuff. So I think like somebody who doesn't really know a lot about anime, I feel like if they were to see that, they would. I wouldn't want them to get the wrong perception of anime, like it's all fan service or this is all, you know what I mean, like this is how every show is. Right. But just as far as like a show to watch, like I definitely think it's a good show, and yeah, I definitely recommend it to anybody that hasn't seen it.
Yeah, I would recommend to like more experienced anime watchers. I feel like even people that have been watching for a little bit, they could still take a lot of that the wrong way. It'd have to be somebody that's been watching anime for like years, that have watched other similar, deeper shows, can kind of connect with it. Like, you couldn't give this to somebody that only watches shonen. They would kind of just be like, yeah, what am I watching?
Favorite episode?
2, by far.
Damn. Yeah, I gotta go with 2 as well. I thought the art and animation in 2 was great. And then, of course, you know, any episode that's going to focus primarily on your favorite character is going to be one you like.
Yeah.
I would definitely say 5. Yeah, I just, like I said, just the animation with, like, the Pelican fights and the animation style that they went with for that episode. The fights with her in the barbershop with Amuro and just that final fight scene. I feel like that was a culmination of like everything great in FLCL was in episode 5.
Yeah, it was an action-packed episode for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Balls to the walls, man. Every second of that episode was something was going on. All right, guys, that has been episode 1 for Otaku Perspective. Go ahead and hit that like, man. Hit that follow. Subscribe. Hit that bell noti if you want. You feel me? Get the notifications. You know, we coming back every week, man. Stay otaku. Stay real.
All right. Theo, can you let us know what you're watching next week?
Yeah.
Man? Drum roll.
All right. Little mini drum roll.
Drum roll. All right.
got for
Last
us?
week, man, we watched FLCL. Did a review on that. Now this week, it's gonna be off of my list for my favorite animes. So the last episode is 86, ladies and gentlemen. I like to put these 2 people next to me onto the show that's really good. They seem to be hating on me the moment I walked in earlier. I don't know why the disrespect's so real, man.
Yes, sir.
Everybody has every different taste, man. So that's what we're going to be watching. I've already seen it. I loved it. But I'm already going to be here rewatching it again just to give more clarity to these gentlemen why the show is on top of my top tier.
All right. I heard of 86 before. I think I heard about it when it came out. And I was just like, I haven't heard anything bad about it, but I just haven't heard much since it came out. So I really, I'm going into it with basically no expectations. So hopefully I'll be surprised. Expectations for this one are, I say medium to low, because I haven't really heard a lot about this show around the community. But that's just, you know, my reaction to hearing it. We'll be watching reviewing 86 next week.
As far as first thoughts, reactions, I kind of like you said, I don't know what to think. All I know is from, you feel me, the praise it got from Theo. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be something to be in, you know what I mean? To be so revered by him and Dwayne. So, I mean, it's got that going for it. But other than that, I haven't really heard much. I don't think I've seen, like, any, like, art or, like, posters. Like, I don't know you feel me, what to make of the show. I don't know. I heard it might have something to do with characters looking different. Maybe, like, racial overtones or, you know, maybe deeper themes. So that might be cool. You know what I mean? Like, I hope it's cool. Hope it got some black people in it or something. I don't know. But yeah, man, it's just, yeah, I hope, you know, we'll see. We'll let y'all know. We'll let y'all know how it is, man. We'll definitely let y'all know.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, I've already seen it. Theo was actually one that recommended it to me. It was really good. I enjoyed it. I know you guys just memeing because it was his number 1, but I honestly do think you guys will enjoy it. Like I said the same thing when it came out. I didn't hear a whole bunch about it, but it's one of those diamonds in the rough, like them hidden gems that are just really good that I slept on.
For sure. Okay.
All right, man, that's been all for this week from Otaku Perspective, man. See you guys next week. We'll re-review 86. All right.
Where you rose,